Welcome back to the City of Caldwell podcast. We have Jeffrey Tibesar
Hello, hello.
hanging out with us today here in the mayor's office. Thanks, Mayor. Anyways, Jeffrey, he is our chair-elect for the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. But yeah, Jeffrey, thanks for hanging out with us
Of course,
today.
happy to be here.
Jeffrey, first, can you just give us a little bit of a taste of who Jeffrey is?
I'm a high schooler here in Caldwell. Uh, think my favorite hobby right now is working on cars, so I have an old Mustang that I'm currently in the midst of restoring. For the future, I hope to end up at U of I after this year, which is my senior year, and hope to study something in the business category.
Cool. Do you have any idea what you want to do after that,
Ooh,
ideally?
I'm hoping to be able to maybe start my own business or at least live like just a standard American dream.
Yeah, cool. Um, is there a car shop in there somewhere,
Mm,
maybe? Or
it depends. It depends.
okay. So Jeffrey, tell us, well, first, again, you are the chair elect. Um, for people who don't know what the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council is, MIAC, what is it? What's your favorite part about being a part of it? And what are you looking forward to for this upcoming year?
So, Mayor's Youth Advisory Council is what MIAC is for. Our main focus, I guess, is like giving youth in the Caldwell kind of area a voice and also opportunity in the Caldwell. So we do a lot of service projects, whether it's with like the Salvation Army, and then we also give our input through surveys and stuff like that. I think my favorite thing about Mayor's Youth Advisory Council is being able to connect with people at other schools who are also like dedicated towards like the city as a whole, because it's kind of hard to find people like that at your own school when there's nothing like connecting you all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's well put. I would, probably the same thing said a little differently is um, the one common thread I see in a lot of you, if not all of you, is you just want to make a positive impact, on your community. And sometimes, if you're in a large pool of other students, you might have a percentage that also share that, but sometimes it's hard to find those people. So it's kind of a
Mm.
nice,
It's a way to connect
yeah, with other people, like you said.
that are not like at your school, but at other schools. So that gives you more of a footing in other places.
Yeah. So Jeffrey, you're the chair. So what what do you think our past chair did that you're like, yeah, I think I want to do that still? And maybe what are some things that you're looking to do a little differently this year?
I think one of the things that our past chair did very well that I want to replicate is like I guess the cohesivity. He was really good at making everybody feel super comfortable, super, I guess, in their own element, whether it was their first meeting or like they're here for 3 years. That's something that I really admire about him. So that's something that I hope to replicate. And then something new that I really want to see is I want to see a lot of representation from smaller schools. So whether it be like a tiny charter school or like a little middle school that just popped up, I want to see more representation and more projects coming from students that don't exactly have the bigger resources that larger schools do.
Great. That's one of the things I do like about our group. This just the makeup.
Yes.
We have charters, we have privates, we have the big publics, we have middle schools, we have high schools. But yeah, would love to help, work together to spearhead some of the smaller, schools, even if they're a little bit outside of our community too. All right, and uh, what would you say? I'm going to ask you a few questions now, more about your outlook as a youth currently living in, being in Caldwell, and just kind of your perspective on things here. So first, how long have you lived in Caldwell or the Caldwell area? And what are some of your favorite parts about here?
So I've lived in Caldwell my entire life. I'm 17, so obviously 17 years here in Caldwell. I think my favorite thing about Caldwell is watching it grow from not so much like a field town where everything is a field. Now there's stuff, there's things to do. Like you look out the window and there's a creek there. That wasn't there when I was a kid. That used to be like a department store. So it's like very nice to see new building and new economic development.
What would you say is something that you wish more mature folks would know about your generation?
Hmm. I would say something that more, I guess, mature folks need to know about us is just because we're young doesn't mean we're stupid. Because I see a lot of people talking down to us. They don't see us as, adults. Granted, we're not adults. We're not claiming to be adults. We're not, I guess, yeah, we're not stupid. That's what I would say. So we understand concepts. We understand the city. We understand government, economics, stuff like that because we are in high school. We're still learning, but we're not stupid.
Yeah. Okay, that's well put. What are some things that you feel like you wish you could? What's something that you wish you could see here in the city, whether it be um, like a restaurant or a store, or maybe it's better resources or better infrastructure specifically. What would you like to see?
I think I personally would like to see more activities in the city that don't require like money. Because when I was like 10, 12, 13, I didn't have any money. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any way to earn. So for me, it's kind of difficult to be able to go out and do stuff when you don't have money to spend. So I would like to see more parks and stuff like that where you have a place to recreate and not worry about spending so much money.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and if you don't feel comfortable answering this, that's okay. But this is just an observation, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But so you work, you have a driver's license, and you drive around independently. Um, I would say you're kind of in the minority, you know, with your generation. I see a lot of kids, not sorry, a lot of students who might not be as motivated to get a license and drive, and who might not be as motivated to work in the actual workplace. So, what's your observation? What do you see? What's the reasoning behind that, if that's true?
I 100% do agree with you. I see a lot of people my age that don't have a license or they have a license and they're not able to afford a car. I think a lot of that, I think motivation does have a key factor in that, but right now the cost of everything is so difficult. Um, I didn't buy my car that I daily drive until like 6 or 7 months ago. Before that, the car that I drove belonged to my sister. So unless you have that opportunity where you're able to get to work to earn the money to buy your own car, you're kind of at the mercy of your own resources.
Okay. So, how about people that maybe there's some students that maybe don't have access to a car, but they can walk or bike to the marketplace,
Mhm.
right? What would you say to help encourage just people in general to get out there and put themselves out there, get a job, drive, and maybe this is like a side thing too. I get how it is. Sometimes you put a bunch of applications out there. It's frustrating because no one's really calling you back. But what tip or advice would you give to somebody then to just say, hey, just I encourage you to keep trying.
I would talk to people because you might not know it, but whether it be your parents, your uncle, your friends, or whatever, they have more connections than you think they do. So my first job, I worked at a pizza place over in the plaza. The only reason I got that job was because one of my friends was hired there before. So I was like, hey, is this like a good place to work? And they're like, yeah, I'll give you a good word. And that's how I ended up getting my first job. And I used that as a catapult to get my second. And now my current, which I'm super happy with, in each at the way, I was getting like a little upgrade, I would call it. So you have to start small with somebody you know, or you can get lucky and get hired independently. and then you can use that as like I guess, a launch pad into something better.
Right. And if people don't apply anywhere, it's going to be hard to get a job.
Yes, that is.
Unless you know somebody and they're like, you want to work for me?
Yeah.
But that didn't really happen to me almost like ever. So for people without that luxury, putting yourself out there is probably important. Okay, so let me ask you this. In 5 to 10 years from now, what would you want Caldwell to look like?
I would like Caldwell to kind of mimic downtown Boise in the sense where it's super developed. There's lots of greenery. It's not really like a rundown place where it's like it's still building. It might be building slower or faster at that point, but it's still like an uptown, super nice little area.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. What do you like to do for fun in this area?
So I think for me, the biggest thing right now is the Indian Creek Plaza. Maybe I'm a little biased because I used to work in the plaza, but I love like the business, the community, and the community in the area. And I know a lot of the local shop owners, so it's super nice to be able to chat with them and like old people that you know that still work at places. I think that's currently my favorite, I guess, hangout spot.
Yeah. So let's look to the future for a second again. So just say 5 years from now, you're done with high school, you're done with college now. What would draw you back to Caldwell? Because I see this a lot. People say it a lot where, okay, yeah, we have bright people here, but they just kind of leave. What advice would you give to Caldwell or people who live in Caldwell to help make this more attractive for just like young professionals, people just starting out, or just talent, I guess. And it's not to say we don't have talent here. We have a lot of talent. We have a lot of great people here. But how do we get some of those people from here who go out to come back?
I would say a stable local like business economy because those young professionals that are leaving Caldwell, the only reason that they're leaving is because there's no business here. There's no place for them to work. So either they're committing to the drive every morning to Boise to get their job, or they're moving to like Boise or Meridian because it's just closer to where they work. So I think you need a not like a big business, but a bunch of smaller businesses, professional businesses like engineering firms, where they can use their skills and keep it in Caldwell.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Jeffrey, was there anything else that you thought was worth just like mentioning or bringing up or plugging?
If you're a youth in the area and you want a voice or opportunity in the Caldwell area, show up. Give Mayak a try. If you don't know anybody to talk to, come talk to me. I'm more than happy to show you around. I'll introduce you to some people. So yeah, feel free. Don't be scared.
Yep. Yeah, check us out on Instagram, or sorry, Insta.
The gram.
Also, we have a website. It's on the cityofcaldwell.org site, Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. But Jeffrey, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we're excited for a new year with you at the helm, being our chair, and we're excited.
I am too.
Thanks.